Hello, welcome back to Care Tutoring's YouTube channel. My name is Peter, and I'm one of the many tutors we provide to give free tutoring help to students around the world. Today we'll be looking at evidence-paired SAT questions. These types of questions are often cited as the most difficult types of questions on the SAT and PSAT because they require you to justify your answer, which isn't seen anywhere else on the SAT. These types of questions are where College Board really wants to get you to falter and to fail. So without further ado, let's get into it. Command of evidence is a subscore within the reading subsection, which is rated on a 1 to 15 scale, and these types of questions are often what feeds into this. So the category exists both on the writing and the reading section of the test, obviously, but the two-part evidence questions, which we'll be focusing on today, they're only on the reading sections. The questions will typically be formatted like this. They'll have two questions, and the first question will be asking a general reading question with 4 answer choices, and the second question will be asking for justification, which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question, with quotations with the lines given. So how do you purge these questions? So we'll use an example from the College Board's website. Here's on the left side we have the passage, which we read, and on the right side we have the answer, which we selected. This is the first question, and this is the second question. So we'll go back to the first question. The description in the first paragraph indicates that what Ethan values most about Maddie is her. So the first thing that we can do when we're reading this is get rid of everything except for the first paragraph. Often on these types of questions, they will have some sort of eliminating factor. They'll have the first paragraph, the second paragraph, or the last paragraph. And that goes for general reading, not just these types of questions. But regardless, we should make a mental note to disregard everything outside of the first paragraph. So as you can see with that teal box, we've eliminated everything outside of that. Next, we should approach this by looking at the description. And if you read over it, you'll notice that there's a lot of description of events rather than what Ethan values about Maddie. So we can get rid of everything that is just dialogue or description. So there you have another mental box that you can make. And if you read closer, you can figure out that it would be C. C would be the correct answer there. However, this is not what we're focusing on today. We're focused on these types of answers. So it's asking about the previous question, and what's important to note is that the answer to the previous question is in this in this part of the question. So, but regardless, the first thing that we should do is eliminate the first and second answers because they include lines that are within our mental box that we've made. They don't have relevance as we've already eliminated them for being descriptive. So next, we can just go back to where our question was and choose between those two answer choices. It becomes much easier. As you can see, as it says, she had an eye to see and an ear to hear. He could show her things and tell her things and taste the bliss of feeling that all he imparted left long reverberations and echoes he could wake at will, which is answer D. We can choose answer D, which is correct. However, this is not always a foolproof solution. There are exceptions to this strategy, and those are if you're not completely sure of the answers for the first question, and if you don't have enough time to properly go through the order which I've already described. And if you're not sure of what the correct answer to the first question is, I've already touched on this, but the first question becomes easier once you realize that the answer to the first question is inside the second question. You can narrow down the search for the correct answer for the first question if you narrow down the search within those lines. So, for example, here we have a passage on the left, and we have 2 questions on the right. If you look at question number 2, you can see that there's 4 choices with different lines. So if we follow those, we can just make a mental box and box out everything except for those lines. After we do this, it becomes a lot easier to figure out the answer to the first question, as all you have to do is just select from those to find the best evidence. However, if you don't have enough time, it can be difficult to properly go through this because these questions are very time-consuming. But again, you should only use this strategy as a last resort, as often these questions come in the middle of questions. So if you're having to use these in the middle, you probably have bigger problems. But regardless, what you should do is you should find a quote that matches a answer correctly, the closest. it doesn't matter if you have either of them. This will probably work better than other things. Sometimes you should look at keywords, but again, note that this is a last resort technique. Do not use this if you have sufficient time. You should always go for the first strategy to get these questions. So yeah, thank you. And if you'd like to tutor for Care Tutoring, please click the link in the description below. And thank you.